People always used to say Base, he can't really do it on land. Clearly he disproved the Daughters last time around in Poland, but he is an even bigger threat online.
Absolutely. So if we look through the picks and bans, we're going to start on Awoken with Strong Pika versus the Nyx. Base obviously a Nyx specialist, even though some would say that was K1llsen's realm. Moving on to Vale, we got the K1llsen versus the BJ, and then we're going to end up on Blood Run, the decider, with the Visor versus the Sorlag. So once again, there's nothing particularly unusual coming out. They both favour those medium champions overall, and they more or less get their favourite picks as well.
Yeah, I mean, that also goes to show that their champion pool is somewhat intertwined with one another, basically playing heroes that either side we'd look at and go, okay, it makes sense in terms of the picks they're bringing forward. Then very quickly, as we are about to jump into this one, quick scoreline prediction, Ryan?
I've mentioned I think it'll be likely 2-1 base, and I'm going to stick to it.
Lee?
Same thing, 2-1 base.
All right, well, let's find out. Dan, we're going into Awoken. I reckon K1llsen's going to take it. I'm going to put it on the line. I think this is going to be a 2-1 split for K1llsen.
So do I.
All right, there we go. We've seen the divide straight down the middle. Boys with the beards versus the glasses boys. There we go. That's the two camps.
Don't call out my bad eyesight.
Well, what can I say?
Good looking versus others.
Oh, there we go. I mean, to be fair, Dan, you always were precise with your colour commentary, so more hard-hitting facts coming straight out as we slip into the game here on Awoken. I'm excited, mate. I can't wait. I actually think K1llsen versus Base is going to be another banger.
Yeah, we've had some spicy games today, but I truly think this is going to be the one to watch out for, as they both have a clash of styles, and K1llsen definitely has the psyche and mentality to want to get back. He was so annoyed with his performance over in Poland, so this is his big chance to show everyone why he deserves to reclaim that belt.
If he could get his name inscribed on it another time, it'd probably be huge for him individually. You can imagine the smile would be from ear to ear, but right now, in terms of his ears, he's using them to get the audio cues to figure out exactly what shenanigans Base is up to as he battles him towards Banana early on. He is getting the items. Ooh, and I was going to say it's a lot of damage done from K1llsen, but right now they are trading back and forth.
They are, and this is what we pointed out in the past, is that Base has the mechanical skill to match K1llsen in whatever game he wants to play. So K1llsen definitely needs to reassess the way in which approaches Base. I think I remember down in Poland anyway, he tried to bully Base off the map and it was not successful. So has he evaluated that loss and reassessed the best approach to play against Base? I would assume so.
K1llsen. Obviously, we know he loves his control, especially on a map like Awoken. It's all about middle for him. He steps up on a perch and tries to lock down overall control of the game, and normally does it with a pretty iron fist.
He does, but we can see that Base is quite happy to play the corners. Damage from range, play silent. And with the Nyx at his disposal as well, he's got the perfect utility to remain defensive. And not having to use the Ghost Wall just yet, uses it aggressively to jump onto that heavy. K1llsen obviously caught unawares with that one. But we'll realise now it is on cooldown, so could be an opening if he hits a rail for him to progress aggressively.
Up to his old tricks, living in his domain. He'll try and gain control of this position as much as possible throughout the course of the game. He does have Pika available as well, and this is giving Base a little bit of time at least now to slowly rebuild up that Ghost Wall. Goes in for the sneak attack and gets a blow off with the rail, but he won't win control of the item.
No, this is what K1llsen, this is how he thrives. He loves to play on the mid ground, on the high ground, slow, steady, uses those audio cues, and then when he hits that rail, he gets that opening. That's where we see the tempo really progress from K1llsen. As we can see now, he has hit that rail, and that's why he's gone super aggressive, trying to catch Base off guard. But Base equally on the defense is exceptional at using audio cues to outmaneuver his opponent. This is why K1llsen can't lock him down.
That's where he thrives, right? It's the slow style of play, tries to really play heavy off traps and throwing a spanner into the works, where if K1llsen, it's a lot more aggressive, it's a lot more in your face. He is that cheater for a reason. And right now, he's got a railgun back in his back pocket, finally forces out the Ghost Walk as well, and he's chasing. Rocket jump up the ledge, spots him, he's hitting shot after shot down. This is the tempo we need to see.
Yeah, he realised Base made a big mistake there, falling onto the jump pad. He's caught him here. This will be our first frag, if he can get the rocket out, but they trade.
Oh! All right. I mean, that's not the way it looked like it was going to go. It seemed so flawless from K1llsen. But finally, after that overcommit, falls short. They trade 1 for 1. Both of them going down. K1llsen coming off it better with the stack, of course. Just innately from the difference of the 2 champion picks they've gone for. Base getting the rockets off, but he's taking far too much damage. It should be a finisher from K1llsen, and the LG will do just that.
Yeah, that first frag, it felt like an age it took for K1llsen to swap weapons, but he has now managed to get a 2-frag lead. That was a crisp rail. K1llsen's looking good so far. And I think I say it every single time we watch K1llsen, but I just don't think there's anyone better in the world at converting spawn frags time after time. He always seems to find a way and just know the pattern of where people are going to spawn.
He can chain kills together so well, but there's a response from Lil Base, the base god, as he comes back into play. We'll get a response frag and at least keep it closer and not allow K1llsen to keep on bloating it and forcing this scoreline ridiculously out of control, because it's still very early on into the game as well, so you can't let it slip away this much.
No, and that's what we often see from Base, is like all good defensive players, he will always conserve the score.
Base, realizing he's on the back foot, has to be a little bit more aggressive and proactive about control.
Oh, what a
major
rail.
items. Good damage done. That really takes a chunk out of K1llsen. Even though he got the mega health, it won't matter in the overall grand scheme of things, but he's playing quite aggressive. That is one hell of an aggro angle to hold.
Yeah, obviously realizing he had the Ghost Walk, wanted to maximize his damage output, and in return did pop the Ghost Walk just to get away safely, and he's won himself the heavy. K1llsen very much on the back foot here. Can Base hit the rail? He can! Oh, that was nice.
But he's crisp, isn't he? He's an unlineable.
He's an animal. A Russian bear.
Got the claws coming out. He's looking like a warthog right now, though, with the sheer speed he's running at, Dan. As they can move up to 29 miles an hour, and he's showing that. Out with the LG, going in quick.
Oh, he has eaten a nasty rocket, though. That will knock his vitality down low. That was also an ole as he ghost walked through the rail. K1llsen is desperately trying to convert as he knows how low his opponent is. But will he? That was risky, actually.
Oof. Okay. Yeah, that was definitely an overinvestment into the fight, potentially. It comes back to harm him. K1llsen also showing some of the same mistakes, revealing that he's a bit mortal, but he is the one that's actually connecting the shots. Tons of damage done. It's all about the railgun between both of these men.
Yeah, but at the minute, Base doesn't have that at his disposal. K1llsen is just keeping this long range, abusing the fact that he has the advantage, and just defending the rail as well. Appreciating how important it is. We all know how big of a utility that is for K1llsen to have that, but Base has worked his way up, but he still will eat a rail for it. Only 2 frags in it, Jackie, and there's 3 minutes to go, so Base once again has done a great job of conserving the score.
Rocket exchange from both of them. A trio of detonations popping off as well. K1llsen starts to roam once more, gets the ammunition back for the railgun. Time beginning to tick away. Playing for sound as he expects this bear to push round the corner, but the only thing that's going to be happening is K1llsen escaping and navigating, tiptoe his way past the rail shots that are coming through from Base. A much slower state of affairs now, Dan. Playing with the tempo rather than unnecessarily trying to bloat the scoreline.
Yeah, it's all about now killing the clock. K1llsen doesn't need to take the initiative. Throughout this game, he's often been winning those rail duels and getting the angles on Base. Yes, Base has kept the score low, but he's also been chipped away at to the point where he can't take any initiative himself. So K1llsen, aware that Base wants to play like this, doesn't want to fall into any traps. Quite happy just to skirt the outskirts of the map. Use the audio cues to keep away from his opponent.
It's not too surprising as well that basically the railgun has been the leeway for the both of them. K1llsen, obviously the nickname that we know K1llsen for. When he has that weapon in his hands, he can be so lethal with it. Base, using it for opportunities to not only instigate fights, but also do consistent damage when K1llsen has control of the map. At this point, control is going to be a large talking point. It seemed like they both wanted to fight towards Heavy. K1llsen's hoping to bait him in, set up a trap. Instead, Base roams around towards Mega. They split the major items 1-1 apiece, and we're getting into the final few rotations as well. There's only about a minute left on the clock. This could be a really impactful fight to see if there is even a chance for Base to get back in the game. So much damage done for K1llsen. The rocket's coming out of Chris, but it won't matter as Base does it better.
K1llsen hit nothing. He was trying to play around the map, but Base cornered him, managed to follow through, and K1llsen's execution was very poor for his standards. Now Base does have a big opportunity. If he can find his opponent, he'll have one more use of that Ghost Walk before the time is up, so he can and will most likely use it aggressively. He's found his opponent 2 rails back to back. He can rocket jump up here to chase his opponent. He misses the rail, but he's got the Ghost Walk, which will allow him to catch up when he needs to use it. Somehow K1llsen gets away. He's going to hang around in that courtyard. I'm sure Base will know exactly what's going on.
Ooh! K1llsen with the Tokyo Drift right now. Looking like a DK as he runs his way away. Waits for him so much time. Base catches up with him. Gets the shot off with the rocket, but the transition into the rail won't quite land. He pushes back through. 10 seconds on the clock. The drop down knocks him up in the air, but he misses the shot. He choked it all the way down. That was the last minute.
He chokes. There's no other way to describe it. Twice. I think he failed a rocket jump when he went to use that Ghost Walk. I believe he meant to shoot before Ghost Walking. And right at the very end, K1llsen was well within railable range. And Base misses the easiest shot of his career.
He had done all of the hard part. Like everything he had to do to actually set that up into a position where he could have got the frag. He just misses the rail. Like the one last hurdle.
Literally shouted pull, and Base missed. Ouch.
He's not been doing his clay pigeon shooting.
He hasn't. That hurts, because as you rightly said, like all of that work, the hard work he had to do, not only to get K1llsen in that position, but throughout the map. And the easiest thing in the game, he manages to miss, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is just the way it goes in an execution-heavy game like Quake.
Not even
there we go. Look at it.
Algae in the world, Dan, that was on that map could save him from choking it away. All that extra oxygen did nothing because he was choking in the last few minutes. That is rough. That's so rough.
I'm actually like a little bit gutted because we could have seen overtime, and I think he deserved to take it to that point.
Oh yeah,
but he has to now regroup, which is going to be slightly tough, and fight his way back and win 2 in a row.
It's a struggle. He's going to have to, as you said, play a flawless series from this point onwards now, and the likelihood of that is going to be hard. Moving on from our opening map on Awoken, it is going to be Vale next, and K1llsen is on K1llsen, so one turret-y boy versus big BJ Blazkowicz.
Yeah, Vale's going to be a bit harder. It will allow K1llsen more time to put the pressure on, but we did see Base play exceptional on this map yesterday against CNZ. So he definitely has his locker to take it to the wire with K1llsen on this one. K1llsen is obviously a solid pick no matter what. You can use that turret pretty well for information. You can use it pretty well on the high ground. And yeah, and BJ is just solid as well, particularly contesting that mega. Often you catch your opponent in a long-range one-on-one lightning gun fight. That's where you can really bully him, popping out that dual wield.
Yeah, it's so effective to give you a bit of an edge, obviously, in terms of actual combat skill, just because of the raw damage output. A lot of the time, we more so just see it used for control of major items, but a map like Vale, you certainly have some opportunities in the close quarters angles. Obviously, I'd say really in terms of the map, probably the most awkward for a lot of the fights you get into. Very harsh angles, line of sight's restricted over a lot of it. The duels we have here are quite unique compared to the rest of the map pool.
Yeah, it does play very differently to other maps, and it's also a map you can get a solid lockdown and strangle out your opponents as well because of the proximity of the 2 major items, the the power of controlling that high ground, and obviously that's what K1llsen wants to do. There's also plenty of innovative and creative rail angles as well because of the kind of closeness of the map and the verticality. So it's a really interesting map to watch and play.
Well, here we go then, as we get the pleasure of watching it. We are in with the action here on Vale. K1llsen with Quake base with Jay. As they start it off, we're going to open up from base's perspective. Lots of damage being taken to open this one up, but already that's a frag. K1llsen, hot off the presses from Awoken. Certainly, this sleeping giant has come out looking for blood.
He has indeed. Got good information from that turret of where base is, and he's absolutely found him off guard here. But look how much damage base is putting out. That was an amazing return from the Russian.
Response was good. And it slows down the aggression from K1llsen. He can't force himself into an angle to overcommit too aggressively. He has to just back off, play for item spawns, find his composure once again. A cheeky peek there from base. That was quite a disgusting angle to take the peek from. The hurty-verty comes out as the rail will whiz by, forces both of them to trade positions.
Yeah, but K1llsen's worked his way and manufactured a very good lead in terms of stack.
Turret going to go down. Up on a perch. Base going to jump back through the teleporter. Gets into a bit of a tussle with the turret. Does destroy it. Complete reset on that one. Much slower state of affairs here. Reminiscent, of course, the early few minutes of what we saw on Awoken. K1llsen essentially just looking to try and go for a few pokes and prods here and there. Base using that dual wield to gain map control.
Nice.
Wants the major item, and that is the smart way to play it. As he drops through, cleans up, gets that item, and does even more damage off the spawn.
He does. Base is playing really well so far. K1llsen's obviously adapted and slowed the pace down just as well, but base is using the audio cues and tracking K1llsen's awareness around the map. Nice. And matching him in his rail duels as well.
Ooh, doing more than just matching him now. Look at how precise he's being with this railgun.
He's out of rail though, so definitely needs to run back and pick up some ammo. Protecting this rocket launcher area perfectly at the moment. Knows that K1llsen really can't contest anything without it. The only thing he can do is chip away at base at long range, but that's only if base gives him the angles to do so. Base has a decent split on the items. I'd like to delay the heavy a little bit more, otherwise that happens.
Rocket's going to tag him. Will drop down and look to try and take the fight. Didn't expect the turret to be lurking in the rear. Lots of damage done. K1llsen capitalizing with a full-blown assault as well. Aerial prowess of this man starting to come through as he is an acrobat.
We can see as soon as K1llsen gets the rocket. Good use of the turret as well to block the entryway. Ouch.
Oh wow, this is a lot of damage now. Good transition there as he leapt back over towards the heavy spawn, found the clean up with the LG, and now has a frag lead once again. Major items being taken whenever he wants them. Starting to find his footing in terms of his pathing around the map. The routes are looking very effective for him so far. Ooh, shots coming out. Not direct damage down. Base relatively low. Gonna have to fall back, play the waiting game.
Yeah, K1llsen more than happy to stick to what base's tempo is though. He has been caught here, missed his rail, he's eating rocket after rocket after rocket. I don't know if Base knows how low he is as he continues to try and rail K1llsen with only 10 health. Base himself, being railable, is forced to back off, doesn't want to give away any more frags. Despite of not having any items, Base is very early for this Mega.
Oh, he's done so much damage though, and it'll be an easy cleanup to actually eliminate K1llsen from that point. The direct rail was all that he required to really open up the flow of the game. They're keeping each other neck and neck when they get into these encounters as well, basically on the same stack. But it won't matter if you've got a shotgun, as K1llsen eats a slug sandwich out the back of the shotty, and Base again takes the lead.
Nice. Feels like Base really has a grasp of the way in which K1llsen's playing at the moment. He's catching him off guard a lot of the time. But at this point, there's plenty of time between the major items. Being so low, I would expect K1llsen to be slightly more aggressive to try and put the pressure on Base, which is exactly what he does. He bullies his ways in. He will probably steal away this Mega. He's a tad late and he will die for that.
That was beautiful as well. The transitioning there, the footwork, everything about it was played flawlessly. And you can see it looks like Base's aim is warmed up. The shots he's now starting to land are so much more precise. The flicks are rapid. His mouse is moving so smoothly.
Yeah, this is what we talk about in the pre-game, is that Base not afraid to go mano a mano. Definitely matching K1llsen in this map with the overall aim game.
K1llsen given an opportunity to build himself back up, but also gets the read. The turret providing him a wealth of information. As soon as he knew where Base was, he struck, having the higher stack and getting the early opening damage off. Through the teleporter, Base tries to still do damage on the getaway, and he's done more than enough. Those two shots are beautifully precise.
They are, and they thwart the aggression from K1llsen, so forced to back off and restack Base, though, with the dual wheel, realizes K1llsen is in a vulnerable position, but the turret does its job and blocks the Russians' advances. Oh, Base mishears his opponent, though. Thinks he's over by the light armor when instead K1llsen pounces from above.
Drop down execution. Ooh. Bringing all of his weight into these fights. Using his confidence now. He's actually brained him though. The backstep, Base. He was able to escape and duke him into that commotion. Got away, but will it be scot-free when they return to the fight? K1llsen with the rockets. Overflicked. Expected him to get knocked much further.
Base clipping the corner actually saved his life, as you rightly say. K1llsen again not hitting what he expects to. Base was truly struggling for the last minute or two as K1llsen had a strangle on the map and was patrolling that mid-ground and just capturing Base at every turn, so that has really flipped the momentum.
Base, he does what he does best. He gets out the stopwatch and he slows down the game, but he doesn't know that K1llsen's directly above him. When he eventually realizes, he will blow himself into an early grave. Oh, Dan, it's all tied up 6-6. The turret giving more information to K1llsen as well. If he would have got the rail off, that would have been the Mega denied for Base. Instead, it could be K1llsen's life eradicated.
This game is so incredibly back and forth. With only a minute left, there's so much time for K1llsen to make a comeback, but Base is looking pretty sound, and that will be an amazing good start with the rocket to the face. That was close as well, but Base doesn't really want to overcommit. Takes position for the heavy, but hits a rail as well. Can he get away?
Base low, but keeping his wits about him. Listening for the push. Beautiful direct. Going to bounce K1llsen and send him flying miles away from Base's location. The transfer from both of their rail accuracy is absolutely disgusting at the minute, and it puts us into this position. Quite a predicament for Base, but not when he gets the rocket off. That's the GG rocket that lands. That's got to be a third map after that.
That was tasty. Base has played so well all series long, and that is a fully deserved victory. Couple of moments of chaos definitely helped him, but overall, felt his play sensational. And we can see, as we said in the start, like the clash of styles, that K1llsen has to slow the pace down, and he does definitely struggle to put on that signature fast aggression against base as we see against other players.
No, he definitely can't play the same way. Both of them kind of counter each other's playstyle a lot, just inherently by the way they find each other. It seems like the raids are what have changed the course of the game. Like, it is an odd series to say the least. I'm glad we do get the third map though, just to scope it out a little bit more. Both of them are playing very well. I suppose as a key takeaway from this, it does bode well for both of them throughout the rest of the tournament, Dan, because they're hitting their shots. Some of the shots the base were hitting were absolutely rambunctious, they were wild. The rocket shots, I mean, just chef's kiss on those bad boys.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and once again, it's signature base, really. He got massively out-controlled in that game, and yet comes away with the victory because of what you said. That rail and rocket defensive play, every time K1llsen went for the aggression, he was getting shut down time and time again. It was the reads and the execution were just on point for both players, really, but base just looking a bit more crisp on that map, and he said he was strong on Vale, and he showed us why.
Yeah. It just inherently kind of plays into his favor as well with the nature of the map design, being a bit more close quarters, the awkward angles. It's just an environment that he thrives in, and he showed it. A couple of odd misplays between the both of them, and the rocket that was just ridiculous. I mean, just straight read him like a book. Beautiful direct to secure the game. The GG rocket that I think K1llsen will have flashing back through his mind for a while after that one.
Now we move on to Blood Run, which is obviously base's home ground, but K1llsen's is also K1llsen's home ground. It was his home ground long before Quake Champions. He can play that positional game to perfection, but base can respond in kind 100%. Plus, base has the visor, which gives him that extra edge of information to work and maneuver around the map. But K1llsen now has a saw lag, meaning he has an additional stack in speed to work with to help close the gap and to take these fights with a bit more comfort.
Going to need to close the gap though. Blood Run, as you said, being the final resting ground for one of these two players. It's literally a matter of move on to the European final to face Cypher, or go down into that lower bracket and start your slog to try and secure that last spot down that will be up for grabs for Europe.
Exactly, and no one wants to drop into that lower bracket where you've got people like Tox and Cooler waiting for you. So it's do or die, really, because the mentally it's going to be so tough to regroup, to have to go back down and face up against another big name when you have come so close on both sides of the coin here to taking this series so far.
Oh yeah, the extra games you'd have to play, the extra grind that you'd have to put in. Instead, they want to end it here as we step back into Blood Run. K1llsen versus Base one final time in this best of three. Let's see where it's going to go.
Starting on K1llsen with the Sorlock down below. Already got the pressure on base. He's going to have to take a lot of damage if he wants to pick up this heavy. Is he even going to bother? He is. And this K1llsen misses the rail. Glimmer of hope there for base. But he now has absolutely no weapons to work with. Manages to get on that rail. Still has the piercing sight if he wants to use it. Desperately needs to get a rocket.
It's worrying as well, because they actually look like the Mary Poppins punish setup. Like, when you've got that angle, you just sit under them towards heavy on Blood Run, light them up with the LG, and they just keep going higher and higher. Horrible stuff.
This low ground position and prioritizing the Mega is a fairly common tactic, because as you rightly say, you're pretty safe down there, you have multiple exits. Picking up Mega generally is a safer option, and you have a very good offensive position to defend that heavy.
Just playing the meta game at the minute. Both of them working for those major items. No unnecessary overstepping of any boundaries. K1llsen, realizing Base's location, made quick steps to just grab the Mega and bail out. Now puts himself back up on the high ground as they try and fight for a bit more of a level footing. Some more Sorlag spits going out. If Base steps into that, he'll take a fair bit of damage. Peek from K1llsen, just a few seconds off. That would have been a lovely rail connection.
Yeah, but once again, Base is playing without items, so he's done a great job to whittle down K1llsen's stack to the point where he's won himself a Mega. K1llsen has a nice flick rail, but it's not going to thwart Base's advances onto that Mega. Also got plenty of time if he wants to get around to try and do some damage on this heavy, which he does, but K1llsen realizes what Base's game is. Oh, but Base hits the flick rail.
Still not a kill found yet. K1llsen. Big spits coming through. Base has got to slow it down. Should get the Mega though, which he will. K1llsen instead opting to just scavenge and grab all the sparse items that he can add to his back pocket. 4 seconds till Heavy's up. This should be our next confrontation.
Oh,
He's hitting so many shots from the high ground like this.
Yeah, he has no right to do as much damage as he is. K1llsen had position, but Base is he's working these situations to perfection at this point in time, and K1llsen now is on the defense to see what he can do, because Base has got his number at every single turn. Every corner he goes around, K1llsen's eating damage, and he's in a lot of trouble. Base just misses that rail. K1llsen is, though, still railable, and there is nothing up. Base has the piercing sight should he need it.
Base.
This is a perfect time to use it, which he does. Fully stacked, opponent on the run, and very low.
Playing it perfectly right now. Complete dominance in terms of the overall map. All the major items are going his way. K1llsen lurking and wasting time before he has to go through the porter to try and throw Base off, but he's already 2 steps ahead. Also definitely ahead when it comes to all of the major items. The full rotations are going his way, so his stack is vastly superior. He's also hitting his shots, so the more times he does this, the closer he is getting to finally getting that opening kill on the board and still having all of the map control to build off.
Yeah, the problem is how do you catch K1llsen? A, K1llsen's tricky. B, he's quick. And C, he's going to be pretty stacked if you don't hit your shots, and he keeps picking up these lights. So it is a challenge on both fronts. I mean, there is an engagement in the mid. Not a lot of damage between them.
Piercing sight going to be utilized once more. His Base will get the read from it, turns the corner, already pre-firing with the LG. Big tags coming out, K1llsen knocked back, and that's all Base wanted. If he couldn't get himself an easy frag, he doesn't want to overcommit, he just wants to play for the major items, but he's still finding shots. Somehow he gets another rail gun, rail out. K1llsen is nearly out of commission. I mean, lucky to be alive at this point.
5-minute warning.
Yeah, but Base is in this catch-22 where he desperately wants to finish K1llsen off from all of this aggression, but at the same time has a lot of respect for K1llsen's combat skill and doesn't want to overcommit. So it's a fine balance to try and get and manufacture the perfect situation to take advantage of all of this pressure.
Base. He's had full rotation, time in, time out. Major items should just be called base items at this point. K1llsen needs to do something. We need that killer instinct coming back from him. He's going to have to fight without the advantage at some point, and this is probably not the chance to do it. Luckily gets away, but Base has torn him to shreds. He's done some damage back though, Dan. Can he at least get items from this?
Base will continue to rotate. The priority is not to let K1llsen on the map. You can see how hard it is to kill K1llsen because of that stack. Hitting 2 rails back to back and still K1llsen gets away, gets his health, gets his armor, and Base is really back to square one now. Obviously K1llsen's not going to contest for anything here, but that is risky going into the mid ground, not knowing where Base was. You can see K1llsen's just not moving until he gets that audio cue. And when he gets that audio cue, he will skirt to the other side of the map and do exactly the same thing. He is waiting for base to overcommit because he cannot afford to have a presence on the map.
Exactly. Base runs the map at this point. Like, it's literally his. K1llsen has to wait and then fight an uphill battle when the time is right. And at this point, there hasn't been a right time.
No, but so long as K1llsen's able to keep on these lights, he's not too bothered by not getting major items. But he also doesn't want to take in confrontation. So this is why we're at this stalemate. Still 0-0, 7 minutes in. It is a game where one frag will win it at this point. Obviously the stakes are high. As we said, nobody wants to drop down to the lower bracket. Once again, K1llsen waiting for those audio cues without knowing where base is. He doesn't want to move. Base is probably at a point now where he's considering trying to bait the items a little bit, but at the same time, if he does that and fails, he gives K1llsen the map. So better safe than sorry is usually the course of action with base, and that's why we see him just rotating them.
Also probably the best stack we've seen K1llsen have in quite some time.
Exactly, and that's why he's confident now to get into the mid-ground. And that rocket will put him back in a good position to compete. And he catches base through the teleporter. Base has gone down.
Okay, after all of that, every single rotation essentially going base's way, all that work he had been doing, K1llsen played slow, methodical, clinical Quake until he had the opportunity to strike. He won the uphill battle, and now he's doing damage off the spawn. He just needs to actually keep this ball rolling, build off the back of it, and not let it just be a blip that can be closed out by base.
No, I mean, we've seen K1llsen run the map for 6 minutes. What? He doesn't need to do anything different. He's got base on the ropes, and he's got another frag as well. That will probably be the game.
That's got to be, surely. With the way this game has gone, K1llsen basically just has to role reverse it. The item timing is absolutely set up for him to just rotate in and out and take them each time. And if he keeps hitting shots like this, he's making it come a whole lot quicker. As we hit 9 minutes, it's now 3-0. Sends him flying into the sky, base running into the walls. He tries to run away from the terror that is K1llsen. This is done, Dan.
This is done. Base... Unfortunately for base, he didn't pull through, and K1llsen gets his redemption from Poland. And we'll be moving on to face against Cypher in the finals.
Yeah, he's done it. Played slow, played smart, and I mean, at the end of the day, that's what matters, right? He had the one opportunity to instigate, went at it with both hands, and he's beaten base here. That's 4-0.
Yeah, it's not often you see K1llsen on the ropes, and it was just one moment, one lapse in concentration from base. He had the piercing sight up, and yet he didn't check where K1llsen was before going through the teleporter. Or if he did, he didn't realize that he was right by or waiting for him.
What?
And it caught him off guard.
He had the piercing sight as well, so it's like... It was the weirdest play after everything that he had done over the course of that entire time, right? Andrew on the visor. I don't know, Dan. It just feels like it was the biggest blunder we've seen all day.
It was just a lapse in concentration, that's the smallest things that go into this as well. We saw, unfortunately, the pressure on the first map getting to him and just missing a crucial rail. And on this map, we see one lapse in concentration where he should have considered where his opponent was before going through a teleporter, and it cost him the game.
It did, and in the end, that's it. K1llsen takes the map and takes the series, a 2-1 split overall. As you said, that's now K1llsen going to the final of Europe. If you are curious how it works as well, there is 3 spots up for grabs from each region. So the top 3 of each will meet on Sunday to fight cross-region. K1llsen obviously fighting out versus Cypher, Dan, to see who gets spot number 1.
He does, but he's going up against an informed Cypher, and K1llsen's looking solid. He's not looking mind-blowing, whereas I felt Cypher so far has shown us a higher level overall, but K1llsen's looking solid, and that is what he needs to be to go up against Cypher.
He does, he does. We've got some solid-looking boys back with us, though. Ryan, Flea, what's your perspective, especially just on that last map alone?
I mean, it was a complete clash of playstyles for most of these maps, actually. K1llsen is really a person who likes to be in control and set up in a good central position from which he can control just about everything that happens on the map, whereas Base tends to be a lot more reactive and allows the other player to kind of come to him, and then he punishes that mercilessly. We saw that very clearly in the final game of Blood Run as well. But the fault in Base's play was just the inability to finish things off. He came so close numerous times, but in the end, somehow K1llsen stayed alive for all of it, and then Base kind of ended up giving away some of the control, and as you said earlier, a bit of a lapse in judgment by the end, just going through the teleporter. Although it has to be said, that was a gutsy play from K1llsen. If Base had used the piercing sight, known he was there, and would have still like pushed with a rocket straight off the bat, that could have very easily gone completely wrong for K1llsen. Instead, with that little time left, very risky play, but in the end, Base making the mistake there.
Yeah, but at the same time, it was the one opportunity in the last 7 or 8 minutes he had forged. He had just hit some damage on Base, had a slight stack advantage, and yes, it's risky, but at the same time, no matter if he has the piercing sight or not, if you're standing by that teleporter, you've always got the jump on your opponent because they don't know where you are. And so K1llsen played it absolutely perfectly.
We always talk about risks. It is the risk versus reward factor, and I guess in this instance the reward was the entire map. But how crazy, how fast things can fall apart. It takes one frag, and this was that one moment. Surprise was sprung, and obviously it was reading chat during that moment. It was very much, I think, shock among everyone that happened, and just led to a complete downward spiral over the remaining minute and a half or so. K1llsen, balls of steel, absolutely, and he manages to make it through, and he's got one hell of a matchup coming up.
K1llsen forever there as he leads the charge to take himself into the finals. Crazy, crazy stuff, boys. It's a shame as well for Base. Obviously, he's not out of the tournament. He is in the lower bracket, but we have some of the top of the European scene all in that lower bracket now, and there's already been some ridiculous results that are coming out from it. I mean, at this point, you know, we've lost Razy. There is going to be some shake-ups, honestly.
Yeah, we're at that stage of the tournament where anyone can win it, and everyone is the best of the best. So it's not a surprise to see so many big names when the talent pool is so high, and it's just a royal rumble for survival at the end of the day. I think Base is in a perfect position to take it through to get on further in the tournament, but it's a long road now, a much longer road than it would have been.
Yeah, we also had Dewey take the win over G-Nick on the B stream as well, so that happened while this game was wrapping up as well. So that means that G-Nick, he had a pretty impressive run coming from the relegation, so from the challengers, making his way into the Pro League, but ultimately he will drop down to Dewey. He will continue in the lower bracket himself.